Hello and welcome to my basement. My name is Ken and I was just about to post a picture to my Instagram and website and stuff like that, and I thought I would take a second and share the backstory. So I was working on the styling of a product photo and I was really struggling to come up with a good creative concept. And instead of putting in the work and developing something really solid, I basically just went to the store and bought some flowers. And I ended up spending like 45 bucks on these. On the one hand, I wouldn't normally spend that much money on a perishable prop, but on the other hand, I didn't have an idea and I was like, well, we're in a global economic meltdown right now. My local florist could probably use $45. So I didn't really regret buying it, but I got home and I wasn't able to use this prop in the photo that I was trying to do. The color was wrong, the scale was wrong, the texture of the wood, just nothing was working with what I bought it for. So I was on the verge of basically wasting this $45. Not wanting to do that, I decided to make a personal project. So this was going to be my new solution. I was going to photograph the flowers with a bottle of gin. Now here my idea was tulips, springtime. In the spring, I drink more gin and less whiskey. This will look great. And I spent a few hours working on the shot. I got everything dialed in just the way I liked it. I showed the photo to my wife and I was so proud of it. I thought she was gonna love it. And I showed it to her and she looked at it and she's like, well, what's with the flowers? Like, I just don't get it. The alcohol and the flowers, it doesn't really mix. And I was like, oh, okay. I was a little bit heartbroken, but not to worry, my ego is stronger than one critic. So I texted a picture of the the composition to my pal, and I was like, hey man, what do you think? And he's like, maybe the flowers would look better with brandy, but aviation seems like kind of a masculine gin. Why would you mix the two together? And so here's a guy that doesn't know anything, and he was able to observe this. And I was like, oh, that's fine. But these guys, they don't really understand how technically strong this photo is. So I sent the photo to my photography mentor and I was like, hey man, what do you think? And he just said, what's the story with the flowers? And so here I had, my wife, my friend, and my mentor all telling me that the flowers don't work. And it wasn't what I wanted to hear, but it was what I needed to hear. And I guess like the lesson that I learned was that you can't really fake story when you're doing creative work. Like it either works or it doesn't. And just because I had this sunk cost of these flowers, I was trying to force that into the new concepts that I was working on, and really it was dumb. If the story of the photo doesn't work, the photo is not going to work. So I guess that would be the big lesson learned. From here on out, I'm going to focus on the story first, and then I will buy my props and set everything else up like that to kind of match it. So there you go. Second thing I learned as a bit of bonus content is that Alanis Morissette actually got her debut at the Tulip Festival in Ottawa at the age of 12. So you got Alanis Morissette and Ryan Reynolds, a couple of Canadian icons in the same photo. I think that's great. Ryan's life is obviously a little bit more lively now, but yeah, interesting little factoid.